It feels like there's a Leuchtturm1917 journal in almost every bookstore I go to. I bought a softcover version first because I thought that I'd be able to experience the paper but in a smaller, lighter version of the book. But then I realised that I also wanted to talk to you about the binding in the hardcover version, and so I bought one of those as well. So now I have two of them. But this hopefully means that I can help you choose which version might be best for you. Hi, I'm Ruby from the Useful Journal. Like this video and subscribe to my channel for reviews of a range of journals from 52 GSM to 180 GSM. Today I'm reviewing a softcover and a hardcover version of the Leuchtturm 1917 Classic Notebook. I will be sharing information about the company and their products. I'll be looking at the packaging of the journal, the markings, features and construction of the journal. I'll be looking at the paper. I have done a comprehensive pen test that includes testing watercolours, and I will also talk to you about social and environmental responsibility. Let's start with how to say Leuchtturm. I still muck it up regularly, but my understanding is that you say Leuch and then you say Turm. And Turm is meant to sound a bit like dorm. So Turm, Leuchtturm 1917. It means lighthouse in German. Leuchtturm 1917 was founded in 1917, go figure, and so is now over 100 years old. They are a family-owned company that is based in northern Germany. The hardcover version is manufactured in Taiwan and the softcover version is manufactured in China. In the world of notebooks, this is a very large company employing over 500 people in 5 different countries, including Germany, USA, Canada, China and Sweden. The journal is sold directly from Leuchtturm 1917 in 10 countries, but it is available in over 80 countries around the world. There are Leuchtturm 1917 websites tailored to several countries, and most of you will be familiar with their products, so I'm not going to spend overly long talking about their product range. I encourage you to look at one of their websites to explore their world of notebooks, guided journals, planners, pens, and other stationery supplies. Finally, I'll note that they are the supplier of the official bullet journal, a 120 GSM dotted and specifically marked journal developed in collaboration with Ryder Carroll, the creator of the bullet journal method. There are currently 19 colours in the classic hardcover range and 17 in the classic softcover range, but they're adding to and removing colours from these ranges all the time. If you prefer the A4, B5, B6 and A6 versions, there are less colours to choose from. The slim version of the A4 is still hardcover, and while most sizes are 80 GSM paper, the A4 is 100 GSM and the bullet journal is 120 GSM. A small number of their journals do not have FSC certified paper. In most styles, you can get dot grid, blank, lined and grid pages. I'm going to focus on the classic notebooks in A5, which have 80 GSM dotted paper. I will talk about the hardcover and the softcover journals together, but I will highlight where there are differences. If I don't say otherwise about a particular feature, then they're the same. All journals have leatherette covers. The hardcover version has an acrylic paper cover and the softcover version has a polyurethane cover, but these both feel fairly similar. A noticeable difference is that the softcover is 2 layers that are laser cut and the leatherette doesn't fold over to the inside, whereas it does on the hardcover version. The journals come in a thin plastic wrap with a belly band. There is no other packaging and no free gift unless you count the stickers to label your journal. The notebook is closed with a 7mm wide elastic that wraps around from the back cover. There is a very slight imprint into the hardcover, and the soft cover has a noticeable mark with a rough edge that bothers me a little. There is a pocket on the inside back cover that extends most of the way to the spine, 2 bookmark ribbons that are a good length that reach around the corner, and in the hardcover, the ribbon is 7mm wide, and in the soft cover, it's only 4mm wide. There is no pen loop, but you can buy Leuchtturm pen loops in a range of colours that stick onto your journal. Because it's attached with adhesive, you can only use the pen loop in one journal. The edges of the pages are plain and there are rounded corners. The last 12 pages are perforated. The hardcover version has 251 pages and weighs 418 grams and is pretty slim for the number of pages at 18mm. The softcover version has 123 pages and weighs 243 grams and is 11mm thick. A big difference between the journals is the price per page. They're very similar apart from their covers, but the hardcover version is 10 cents US per page, while the softcover version is 19 cents US per page. That's a significant difference considering you're getting the same paper. I would say the hardcover version is good value. The Dingbats journal is 13 cents a page and it's 100 GSM paper, so they're fairly similar, and the Leuchtturm is cheaper. After price, construction is the next biggest difference between the two journals. The hardcover journal has a stitched book binding and the pages lay flat and sit inside the cover edges. They've really messed up on the gluing of the 8 signatures together. Not only do the signatures not sit flat at the joins, where to get it flat you have to pull the pages apart and that results in the tearing of the pages, but glue has also snuck into the centre of the signatures where the stitches show, meaning you also have to pull it apart to get it to sit flat here, and that results in more tearing. Really not good, and I expect more of a large and premium brand like Leuchtturm1917. The softcover journal has a stitched perfect binding. When you open the journal, it doesn't lay flat for the first part of the journal, but improves somewhat in the middle. The pocket on the back cover provides enough extra weight that it stays open at the back too, so overall it lays more flat than most journals with a perfect binding do. There are also 8 signatures in the softcover version, so they have less pages per signature, which probably helped it lay flatter than it would have otherwise. The joins between them are very neatly glued with no exposed binding, and the pages pressed down evenly and barely sat up at the spine. The cover is cut flush with the edges of the pages, so it doesn't protect them, and in fact is a bit short of the pages at the back because of the pocket. On both journals, the ribbon is glued between the pages and the spine, and it doesn't look especially secure because you can see the ribbon extending just a short distance down inside the gap. There is a return to owner page, 2 index pages and a blank page before you enter the dot grid pages. These are numbered in the bottom outside corner. There are 27 dots across the page and 38 dots down the page. There is a fairly large gap top and bottom before the dots start, and there is a gap to the long edge of the page too, but this one is narrower in the softcover version, whereas the hardcover version has equal width borders around all 3 sides. The dots are about 5mm from the centre of the page. They are well aligned between each side of the double page spread. The dot darkness is average and there are no other markings. The 80 GSM paper is a light cream colour and reasonably smooth, but has a little tooth to it that you can feel when you're writing on it with a fountain pen. This is a consistent feature across all Leuchtturm1917 journals, and other people testing fountain pens on the paper have commented on the same thing. Despite only being 80 GSM, the paper is impervious to most liquids, as can be seen by my pen test results, and this is because the paper has been saturated with latex and then coated. The coating is particularly noticeable when using watercolour because it takes forever to dry. In my circle test, especially for the wet on wet test, where I fill the circle with water, wait 10 seconds, then add paint, the paint took over half an hour to dry and the pigment settled into the low points. It doesn't soak into the paper at all. You just have to wait until the ink on the surface air dries. This is also seen in how long it took inks to dry in the smear test, about 18 to 20 seconds for a Pigma Micron pen, which is about as long as any journal takes. Okay, clearly there is a lot of coating on this paper because even though it's 80 GSM, there was no bleed through from any of the pens except the alcohol-based ultrafine Sharpie marker. I coloured these trees with Tombow markers and went over the same spot more than once, and there is no show through. Ghosting was more of a problem, especially my stamp ink pad and drawing ink, and pens are visible not only from the reverse of the page but the next page. It doesn't go any further than that though. It's not dark enough that it's difficult to use the reverse of a page, and I can see how some people would like it because it gives the page a more used feeling. Pencils erase cleanly with no shadow left on the page, and none of the whiteouts were particularly good. They looked too white against the cream paper. I didn't see any feathering of the inks, and perhaps because of the softer paper, the strokes were a little wider than seen on some other papers. The only confusing result was my highlighter not smearing the Pigma Micron, but I will admit to leaving it a while before highlighting, so it may have had time to dry. The classic notebooks have paper from Sustainable Forestry and are certified by the Forest Stewardship Council. The paper is latex coated, but Leuchtturm1917 has commented that they use water-based and mineral oil-free inks and apply strict chemical management guidelines. I haven't been able to find any information about Leuchtturm1917's efforts in terms of social responsibility. There's nothing written on their website about money they've given to charity or efforts they've done for their community, and they also don't comment on whether they've checked into working conditions in the Taiwanese and Chinese paper factories. I would like to see a company this size share that kind of information. Firstly, I'd like to say after many years of reading comments online about Leuchtturm1917's ghosting issues, I was expecting it to be worse than it was. It doesn't affect the readability of the writing on the reverse side of a page, and there was no bleed through at all, except of course from alcohol-based inks. The paper is not as smooth as I expected, and it is so impermeable to liquids that it takes forever for anything to dry. Watercolours look terrible on this paper anyway, so I probably just wouldn't use them in these journals. This result was quite different to the Travelers Company Midori paper, which I quite enjoyed using watercolours on. I am frustrated that because of poor glue application, the pages tear between the signatures and inside the signatures of the hardcover version of the journal. But I'm also frustrated that the softcover version of the journal is so much more expensive than the hardcover version because I prefer its size and its portability. I think Midori has much better paper, but Leuchtturm1917 comes in a much greater range of sizes and cover colours. It's easier to find and it has FSC certified paper. I don't really understand why people are so dedicated to Leuchtturm1917 because while it's a good journal with decent paper, there is nothing particularly outstanding about it. I'm keen to see how a Rhodia compares though, because the paper is a similar weight, it's FSC certified, and the journal is also very popular with fountain pen users. So I'm keen to see if there's much difference. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I promise you this won't be the last time you hear me talking about Leuchtturm 1917. See ya.